Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome back, fans, to the Spreads Extra Bases segment. I'm your host, Jim Sella, in studio with Jay Dash. We got the NL Central coming for you today. Now, the Cardinals, the Cubs, the Buccos, the Reds, and the Brewers. Your hometown Buccos, Dash, your heart and soul. You love these guys. If they lose, you don't even leave the house. They're in third place, 6.5 back of the Cardinals. The Cardinals went on a huge tear at the beginning of the season, though, and they're starting to finally come back down to earth, and their record's showing it a little bit. But it's not like they're dropping off that far, so it's going to be rough.
No, if I think back, I think the Pirates and the Cardinals have won or lost on the same day for the past 20 games, it seems like.
Yeah. It's hard to gain ground on a team that almost never loses.
The question I want to ask in this segment is, will anyone challenge the Cardinals in the NL Central?
No, I mean, I picked them to win the division at the beginning of the year.
Well, you did. I picked the Pirates, of course. The Cardinals, they're sitting at 39-21. The Cubs 32-26, 6 back, and the Pirates are 6.5 back at 32-27. Now the Reds and the Brewers are 11.5 and 16.5 back respectively. I think we can eliminate them from overtaking the Cardinals at least. I mean, the Reds can get back in this. Do I really think they're going to overtake the Cardinals? No, I don't think that can happen.
Cardinals are not invincible, though. They're only 3 games above 500 on the road. It's their crazy home record that's put them in such a good spot.
And look, the Pirates have the best offense in this division. At least right now, they scored the most runs, 244, although it's close throughout the division. 243 for the Reds, 240 for the Cubs and Cardinals.
Only 177 runs against for the Cardinals, though. Their pitching is crazy. They lost arguably one of the best pitchers in baseball, not only on their team, and they're still just dominating.
Yeah, you're talking about Adam Wainwright, and yes, the 177 runs against, like you said, that is number 1 in all of baseball. Now, number 2 in all of baseball is the Pittsburgh Pirates at 202. So, really, this is the best pitching in baseball comes out of the NL Central.
It's crazy how big the difference between 1 and 2 is. Not even hating on the Pirates at all, just
the 25 runs.
Yeah, the Cardinals have been that good. Usually the difference of 1 and 2 is maybe 10 runs.
But look, the Cardinals have had injury problems this season. Like you said, they lost their ace in Adam Wainwright for the season. Matt Adams, their first baseman, 4 to 6 months or something, some crazy number. He's probably done for the season, I believe. I don't think they actually announced it's for the season, but I wouldn't expect him to come back and make an impact. He wasn't even hitting the ball that well when he was healthy. And then Matt Holliday just got injured for him as well, and he's been one of their best hitters so far this season. He actually started the season reaching base safely in 40-some games straight. But I think it's a quad tear he has, and they're not even going to reevaluate him for another 2 weeks. So it's going to be a while without him as well.
It's going to be tough for them to score runs. He's a big part of their offense.
Now, you look at the rotation, it's pretty good from top to bottom. You got Michael Wacha, who's one of the best pitchers in baseball this season. Lance Lynn sitting with a 3.07 ERA, 77 Ks in 73 and a third innings pitched. He's having a good season, but he just had an injury, and there's something wrong with his forearm. So I think there's supposed to be an update tomorrow on Saturday about how long he is supposed to miss, but there is another injury. Now listen, if Lance Lynn goes down, you can't overcome everything. That Lance Lynn's one of their best pitchers. They already lost their best pitcher. They lost their first baseman. They lost their best outfielder. You can't overcome everything. And if Lance Lynn misses a lengthy period of time, I highly doubt the Cardinals keep this 6-game lead in the division.
He's just going to rub some dirt on it, man. He'll be all right.
But if Lynn can come back, you got Michael Wacha, Lynn. Carlos Martinez is having a great season right now with a 2.93 ERA. He has a high K rate, but he does have control issues. So I think you're going to see some rough stretches from him as well. He's just hot right now. But in the end, he is definitely worth being in this rotation. Jaime Garcia's been good in 4 starts, and then John Lackey's been the worst, but a 3.74 ERA out of your worst starter isn't bad at all.
Yeah, that's better than our 4 and 5 starters.
Well, it's not better than our 4 right now.
Well, that's because he pitched 1 game. That doesn't count.
He's 4-0 in 4 starts.
Well, he's pitched 4 games. That doesn't count.
Okay. Well, then Jaime Garcia doesn't count, right?
Why? How many did he pitch?
4?
Well, he counts.
Okay. Now, on the field, they have Molina at catcher. You can't argue with anything there. At first base, they're playing Mark Reynolds now since Matt Adams is out. And Reynolds is a guy that hits for a lot of power, but K's a ton. Now, this year, he's K'ing, but he's not hitting for the power. He only has 3 home runs and 144 at-bats. So I'm guessing they're going to have to do something there around the trade deadline to bring in a first baseman or bring up a prospect in Stephen Piscotty to play first base, even though he's an outfielder.
The Cardinals always seem to make the right trade at the deadline, and they always seem to get a player for something they shouldn't be able to get him for. It's like they're cheating. They're the Patriots of baseball.
Yeah, I was just going to say they're the Patriots. Second base, you got one of the best second basemen in baseball this season in Colton Wong. Shortstop, Johnny Peralta is having an excellent season for the Cardinals. He's showing power. I think he's going to slow down a little bit. He's not a 300 hitter anymore and a 35 home run hitter. That's just not going to happen from him. I expect him to slow down, but it's still a great player to have in your lineup. Matt Carpenter's been a great player for several years now. You got to love him at third base. But look at their outfield, man. Randall Grichuk, John Jay, Jason Hayward, Peter Bourjos right now until they get Matt Holliday back. Now, Hayward, he's a guy that everybody loves going into every season, but he always has a down year, and he's just never going to turn into the player people hope, it looks like. And then you got Grichuk, Jay, and Bourjos. Like I said, there was nothing special there, so they could do something in the outfield around the deadline too, I believe. But this outfield just doesn't compare to the Pirates or really maybe not even the Cubs.
Yeah, I don't know. The Cardinals always seem to win as a team, so it doesn't even matter if they have one star on their team. They're just one of those franchises. It's weird. It
does seem like it, but with all these injuries, it's going to be hard to keep this lead, man. I'm telling you.
The Patriots almost made the playoffs without Tom Brady that one year.
I remember. The one thing that makes their pitching staff so great, though, is their bullpen. Rosenthal's one of the best closers, if not the best closer in baseball this season. 20 saves, an 0.65 ERA. And then you got a bunch of people filling it out. Seth Maness, a 3.63 ERA. Randy Choate, a 3.27 ERA. Bilal, a 2.16 ERA. Carlos Villanueva, an 0.75 ERA. Jordan Walden, an 0.87 ERA, and Kevin Seagrass, a 1.71 ERA. So they have a ton of arms in this bullpen that are getting it done right now.
They have a collective like 7.80 or something, or like 8.20 ERA. That's like some starters ERA that suck.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Add them all up.
Yeah,
I was going to say collectively, it's way under.
Oh yeah.
Something.
I'm not. I'm just saying, like, if you add them all up, they're still better than some starters that are having bad years.
Please believe. Now, they have a couple prospects. That starting pitcher Marco Gonzalez, we talked about in one of our prospect check segments. If Carlos Martinez starts to struggle, they could move him back to the bullpen. If John Lackey doesn't work out, Marco Gonzalez could be a nice fill-in for him. And like I said, Stephen Piscotty could play some first base for him. Or like I said, they need help in the outfield too, so they could bring him up and play him both places when they need him. And Piscotty's a guy, he's ready for the bigs. He's an older prospect, and he's been hitting in the minors for a long time now. Hits around 300. He's a Cardinal. He doesn't show a ton of power, a ton of speed. He does everything well, though. You know what I mean?
Right. Listen, I read an article. Oh, man, I forget where it was. I don't know. I found the link to it on Twitter, so it's probably not even legit. But it was saying that the Cards are thinking of trading for Troy Tulowitzki.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
And then moving him to the outfield.
That would be crazy.
But wasn't that Tavares that died for the Cardinals? Wasn't he a shortstop?
No, he was an outfielder.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I did read that. It was probably just some idiot who wrote it.
Oh, I mean, Troy Tulowitzki's going to have to move off shortstop at some point in his career. I thought maybe third base. Outfield's a possibility too, though, I guess. But all in all, the Cardinals, they can upgrade first base, like I said, and outfield, and maybe starting pitcher if Martinez struggles, Garcia gets hurt again, Lackey falls off, something like that happens. But really, this team's looking good if they could just stay healthy. But right now, I mean, they're already going to be without two of their best players for the season. And we'll have to see about Holiday and Lance Lynn.
What if they sign Pedro when he becomes a free agent and then they turn him into a beast?
And it's possible.
It'd be hilarious.
You'd love Pedro if he went to the Cardinals.
Probably.
You're ridiculous.
They wouldn't let him wear his ears and his hat, though.
But the Reds, I said they don't have a chance. They're playing better baseball recently, but 11.5 back or something. They're not going to overtake the Cardinals.
Are they trying to deal Cueto?
If they're not in it by the deadline, they're going to be sellers, and Cueto is definitely a top option to go. Like I said, this team isn't going to stay in it, so I do see Cueto going somewhere.
Coming to Pittsburgh. Here we go, Cueto.
Their shortstop, Zach Cozart, was having an all-star type season, and he actually got hurt, and he's done for the season. He's having surgery, so I just don't see it happening. They're not going to bring in guys. They're not going to go buy a shortstop right now to try to win games as they're sitting at 11.5 back, thinking already, are we going to have to deal Cueto? It just ain't going to happen. But I'm thinking maybe Jay Bruce could be a guy they deal. They're not going to deal Votto. Brandon Phillips, maybe. He's having a good season. And I'm sure they're not trying to stick around with that guy forever.
He sucks.
And then there's the Brewers. They have absolutely no chance. You said something. They're trying to deal Aramis Ramirez.
Yeah, I read an article. I don't know, man. You say they have no chance, but that smoking 10-20 home record, that you better look out.
Yeah.
They might win 40 total games through the whole year.
Well, look at this. Their run differential is -59, while the Cardinals sit at +63.
Jesus. Pathetic. I don't know. They could deal Ramirez. Let him go to a team that's going to win. I like Ramirez.
I could see that happening. Who, though? I'm not quite sure.
I think it was the Mets.
Yeah, the Mets. Well, David Wright, I just read something about him. He's going to be out until the All-Star break now, at least, I believe. Dude's having problems with his spinal stenosis.
Yeah, hey, that SS will hold you down.
All right, let's move on to the Cubs. 2 players they got on the DL that are impact players, possibly. Jorge Soler, their outfielder, star young outfielder, having somewhat of a down season, though. High strikeout rate. And then Tommy La Stella, he may not be an impact player, but he's a nice utility infielder, and he's a guy that can keep his average up around 300 when he's on.
We better keep it up around 300 because their rotation is struggling.
Well, you got Lester with a 4.25 ERA. I mean, that's a bad ERA from him, but all in all, a 4.25 ERA out of a starter in your rotation isn't terrible.
But
you just like it out of the back.
Starter.
Yeah, you don't want it out of your number one. But then you got Jake Arrieta, who is an ace type pitcher. He has a 3.16 ERA, and Jason Hamill. He was pitching great for the Cubs last season. They dealt him to Oakland. He was terrible. And then the Cubs bring him back, and he's pitching like an ace, too. Sitting with a 2.76 ERA, and his strikeout to walk rate is ridiculous right now. Kyle Hendricks, he's a guy I like. His ERA is a little higher than I want to see right now, a 3.96 ERA. But he's still a good pitcher, and he deserves to be in the back end of this rotation. The one guy, Tsuyoshi Wada, he has a 4.82 ERA in 5 starts. He's a pretty decent pitcher. We'll have to see where he goes from here. Like I said, just 5 starts. So if he has a good start, his ERA is going to drop a lot. If he has a bad start, it's going to look terrible. And we'll have to see by the deadline what they do. They might want to bring in a pitcher or 2, possibly.
If they want to compete, they better. None of these guys really make you think, oh, they're going to carry us through a playoff series.
Well, Jake Arrieta's the real deal. But they got to get more out of John Lester. You're right.
Well, they gave him a big deal, didn't they?
Yeah. They're trying to win now. Positional players, Miguel Montero, catcher's a very good option. Anthony Rizzo at first base, that's one of the best options in baseball. Second baseman, Addison Russell. This is going to be a very good player one day, but he's showing a lot of struggles this season. And really,
pains.
This is a young team, so you're going to see that happen. He's going to have his hot stretches, but there's a lot of young guys here. Starlin Castro is still a young guy. He's another guy like Jason Hayward. We keep saying
he's going to break out.
He's going to break out, and he just never does. He's not playing very well this season either. Now, Chris Bryant, this dude is a monster. He's already a beast. One of the best players in baseball, it looks like already.
As long as he can keep it together on the field, you know he's going to hit the ball out of the stadium at the plate, so he'll be good.
We'll have to see. If he can't handle third base, they may move him to the outfield. Look at their outfield. I mean, it's not that great either. It compares with the Cardinals right now without Holiday, obviously. Fowler, Coughlin, Denorfia, and Junior Lake. I mean, that's not that great at all. But you got Soler coming back. And they have some options in the minors that Javier Baez, if they brought him up, then Chris Bryant moves to the outfield. That makes your outfield look a lot better. You know what I mean?
You're big on Alcantara, too.
Yeah, I like Alcantara. And that Kyle Schwarber, who we talked about in a prospect check just last week. People go check that out to hear about him. But this guy is a monster, too. And if they don't want to keep him a catcher, they could bring him up to play some outfield.
And they're stacked with young talent.
The only problem is Javier Baez, broken finger. He's out 4 to 8 weeks now. So the Chris Bryant move to the outfield looks like it's going to be delayed at least 4 weeks.
You would never hear a hockey player say, I can't play for 4 to 8 weeks because I broke my finger.
I think it's a little different. You can't really bat with a broken finger.
Well, I've seen hockey players get hit right and square in the face with a puck and then not be able to see and still come out. Come on,
it's
man.
It's still a little different, man.
I mean, I get it. Just man up. Dudes back in the day play with broken fingers. Just it makes your finger like aim the other way or something whenever you're done. It's all right. What do you need your finger for? You're a millionaire. Cut it off and get a new one.
Let's move on to their bullpen here real quick. Hector Rondon, he was their closer coming into the season. He had a little bit of struggle, so they moved him out of the closer role, but they still say he's their long-term closer. Pedro Strup's pitching great. He was actually in the closer's role for a little bit. So there's two good relievers you have. Neil Ramirez is a good reliever when healthy. He's had his injury problems this season. I believe he's on a DL right now. I'm not quite sure if they brought him off or not. But then Jason Mott's having a decent season. You got Phil Koch and Edwin Jackson, two veterans. So they got some decent bullpen pieces, and they just signed that Rafael Soriano.
Oh, did they finally sign him?
Yeah, they did sign him. So they're trying to add pieces to this bullpen to strengthen it a little bit. And that is a good idea. I just think his team's a little too young, and they're going to have their struggles, and they're not going to stay in this race all season.
Yeah, I said it last week. I think they'll keep it going. Maybe shortly after the All-Star break, they'll finally hit their wall. You don't play as many games in the minors as you do in the majors. So it happens to rookies and young guys. It's not a knock on any of these guys. But
the one thing the Cubs can do, though, is if they stay in the playoff race up through the trade deadline, they have money. They're a team that has a ton of money, so they could spend and bring in some pieces to stay in this race all season long. They could upgrade starting pitcher, like I said, if Wada doesn't work out or if Hendricks maybe doesn't work out. They still want to add some bullpen pieces, they came out and said, so we'll have to see what they do there. And they could definitely upgrade outfield, whether through prospects or trade, and infield depth as well. I think Jonathan Herrera is really their utility infielder, and that's all they have as far as depth in the infield. And I don't see that as working out long term this season. And then there is the Buccos, the best team in this division, obviously. They haven't suffered any major injuries this year because they stay trained.
I'm knocking on wood for you.
Yeah, thank you. They do hard work in the offseason. These guys just don't get hurt.
I guarantee you Cole, Liriano, and Burnett were drinking together all offseason, just sitting there pounding Miller Lite, dude, watching TV and playing PlayStation.
Not Cole. He was focused.
He's drinking Cole 45s all day long.
Please believe. The rotation, Cole, Liriano, Burnett, and Morton, there's nothing to complain about out of those four so far.
Except Morton sucks.
Morton does not suck this season, at least. He has been dominating pretty much. Locke, now, he's had his struggles.
He's garbage.
Well, listen, I give him more time because if you're going to take him out of the rotation, you're probably going to have to cut him or trade him. And now's not the time for that. I let him try to work things out. He showed upside in the past, and he's had some good starts this year. We've said it before. So,
I give him to the All-Star break.
Oh, yeah, me too.
If he doesn't win any more games, then cut him. If he wins more games, then cut him. I don't know.
Well, no, if he's dominating by the All-Star break, you stick with him for a while. But, yeah, I agree. You give him to the deadline whenever you start thinking about making deals. If Locke's still struggling, yeah, sure, you want to bring in another pitcher. Now, you said someone better than Morton. How Morton's pitching right now, I mean, you're going to have to bring in a very good pitcher, but you could even bring in just a better number 5 pitcher as well.
I don't think Morton's going to keep this up. Morton's
it's possible, but listen, man, he showed upside.
Patchwork starter to me.
He showed high upside before, too. The one thing with him is injuries. He has a lot of injuries now.
He
was supposed to come back a lot earlier this season, if you remember. Hopefully, maybe they let him heal a little longer, get get healthy for the first time in a while. And maybe if he is healthy, he can be as productive as he's showing. But maybe the injuries do pop back up, and you need to find another starter as well.
Missed his manicure last week, so he can't start.
Now, offensively, you got Cervelli, a catcher. I don't think there's any problems there.
Didn't hear about him. He's over 300 average, right?
Yeah, he's been dominating pretty much, and he's a great defensive catcher as well. I know a lot of people have been stealing on him, but he's throwing out a lot of people as well. Go ahead.
You got Pedro at first base. He's got the power numbers this year. Hit a couple balls out of the stadium. My biggest beef with Pedro is I'm pretty sure they've all been solo home runs. And
not every one of his home runs, but yeah.
I swear I think I heard that on a radio show yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure he's had all solo home runs. And then he was up with, I don't know, the bases loaded or something in a pressure situation the other day, and he like pops out to somebody.
Yeah,
that's my only beef with him. But I guess you're not really, at this point, relying on him to be your clutch hitter anymore. You know he's not your clutch hitter, so you're not putting him in those positions as much as he used to be.
Yeah, well, listen, he's still driving in runs. I mean, he's not on pace for 100 RBIs, but he's still driving in runs. And when he's not hitting the homers, he just looks like a better hitter this season than he did last year, and really better than he did in 2013 as of right now. I mean, he's driving in runs in other ways. He's getting on base with the walk a lot more than he used to. So, I mean, I don't have anything to complain about with him except just to keep improving at first base. He's definitely not a great first baseman as of yet.
Not at all.
Neil Walker at second base, he's had a down season, but I think he'll be all right in the end. I mean, he's great defensively. His average is going to come up some. He's going to show a little bit more pop later in the season. No problems there. Shortstop, Jung-Ho Kang and Mercer, whoever plays there, I'm happy with. Harrison at third, Kutch, Marte, and Polanco in the outfield. I mean, there's nothing you can really upgrade on this offense. You know what I mean? You have to just stick with this for the season. And even the backup, Stewart at catcher, he's been one of the best backup catchers. Sean Rodriguez between first base and the outfield. He's been a very good player for the Pirates this season. And Harrison's versatility is really a huge plus for the Pirates because whenever someone needs to sit, Harrison can play a position where maybe you have to move Polanco to left field or something stupid like that. But between the 9 starters and Mercer, you really can play anyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
As long as Mercer's hitting the ball.
Well, that's the thing. If he's not hitting, he's sitting. But if he is hitting, he's in. Then Kang, he can move to third. And then.
But even if you're giving Marte a day off, you move Polanco over, you got to move Harrison out there, then you got to plug Mercer in and just hope he's hitting that day. That's all. That's what I'm saying.
Well, the thing is, if Mercer's not hitting, you're probably going to want to play the other guys. You know what I mean? Now, when Mercer's hitting, you're going to want to give a guy a day off. And that could be anyone. But the bullpen, Melanson, Watson, Caminera, and Hughes, I'm happy with. Bastardo, Scahill, well, Worley, I'm not completely unhappy with. He did let up a one-pitch home run. Lost the other day, though. That was terrible. But really, I'd like to see them bring in a lefty arm, someone better than Bastardo, and someone better than Scahill. He had a good start to the season, but he's really tailed off recently. But Melanson, Watson, Caminera, and Hughes, I'm pretty happy with. In fact, Caminera's been excellent recently, and there's actually some talk if Melanson would happen to fall out of the closer's role, it would be Caminera that would get the first shot.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I read an article that asked the other day, should he be the closer? And I just thought to myself, well, Melanson hasn't done anything to get kicked out of the closer role yet.
But Caminera has like a 100-mile-an-hour heat. That's why
fans in the media want Melanson to be gone. I don't know. They hate him.
They want him to be garbage.
Yeah.
And then they'll want to trade him for something good.
Yep, they'll want to trade him for freaking Cole Hamels.
Prospects, they have a starting pitcher in Adrian Sampson. If something doesn't work out with Locke, I'd like to see Sampson come up and get a shot, but it's probably going to be Clayton Richard to get the first shot, or maybe a Casey Sattler. But I'm telling you, Adrian Sampson in the minors, he's having a good season, and this guy has been pretty good throughout his minor league career. And then second base / shortstop, Alan Hansen, he could be a nice utility infielder for him down the stretch.
Trade Mercer.
No, you don't even need to trade Mercer. Listen, they got Corey Hart and Jose Tabata as their last 2 players on their roster. And you can upgrade those 2 positions as the season goes along. And Alan Hansen, he'll be ready at some point later this season. He's definitely a possibility. And then maybe tie on in the bullpen later this season if he comes back healthy and pitches well.
If they're pitching well, I don't know. I think I'd rather just let them be.
Well, it depends
and
how their
relax
bullpen looks later in the season, too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they're pitching then I'd just let them relax. You don't want to put them in that pressure situation. You don't want them thinking too much coming off the injury like that.
Things they can upgrade, definitely a bench bat. Corey Hart, they're not even giving him playing time anymore. He's just not good defensively. That's really the problem, because if you're only going to use him as a pinch hitter, he's not worth being on the bench. You need a guy that can go in there and eat up some innings on the field as well, and they just don't see it in him.
He can eat up some grass when he dives and misses the ball.
And then Jose Tabata, I mean, he's showed some good spurts, but he's not a guy that you want to stick with.
I think we're done with him in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if there's an injury and he's in the minors, he's not a bad guy to bring up and fill in for a little while or anything.
When are we just going to cut ties with this guy?
Well, I mean, we put him in the minors, and there was an option for other teams to grab him, but remember, we gave him like that 6-year, $18 million deal or something. So teams are going to have to pay that if they pick him up. So we could send him to the minors without a team grabbing him, you know what I mean? Yeah, we're overpaying him, but I mean, whatever. It's not like it's breaking the bank or anything either.
I'm done with him. It sucks in baseball that you're stuck with the contract no matter what, because this guy, just get rid of him. Get him out of the organization. And
then starting pitcher, if Locke doesn't work out, maybe a Clayton Richard, a Casey Sadler, or a Sampson get shots, and then if they don't work out, you make a trade at the deadline.
How comfortable is Buster Olney with his Pirates World Series prediction?
I'm sure he's pretty happy with it. I'd have to expect. Listen, I just read an ESPN article yesterday my buddy sent to me, Anthony Turi. There's a stat they do. It's called base runs. It's the offensive total bases and the bases given up defensively. Like, they add them up. It's considered something a little better to predict how good a team is rather than just run differential. Like, the Pirates have a plus 42 run differential right now. That's pretty good, but they say this is a little bit better to predict how good a team is. Now, this is saying, according to the base run stat, the Cardinals should be 33-26 right now, and the Buccos should be 33-25. But that was actually before their last game. I think they probably both would have won their last game. So we'll say 34-26 and 34-25. And Jim just banged his elbow off the wall, I believe, or a chair.
Funny bone isn't so funny when it's you. It's funny when the Pirates lose.
So all that really means is the Cardinals had a little bit of good luck and the Pirates had a little bit of bad luck. Now, you can't take away the extra wins the Cardinals got. They're 6.5 up on the Pirates. But with all these injuries, I'm thinking the Pirates are going to make a comeback and still take this division. I know you're not going to agree with that. Because
nope. Buccos are going to falter down the stretch. I don't want to say falter. The Buccos aren't going to be able to overtake the Cardinals down the stretch because the Cardinals will not falter. The pitching staff's just there. The Cardinals just win. It's just in their organization. I know the Bucs are building that right now, but they aren't at that elite level as the Cardinals. I think they finished second in the division, possibly third, but I do think the Cubs are going to fall off. The Buccos will get that 1 or 2 wild card spot, though, the first or second.
If the Cardinals take any more injuries, it's going to be too much for them.
Well, the thing is you can say that, but the Bucs, like you said earlier, have been so healthy, so all it's going to take is one of the top 3 going down, and the Pirates are really going to be in some trouble.
Well, I mean, yeah, anybody can suffer injuries, but there's just as good a chance as the Cardinals losing another guy, too. So right now, I'm looking at the Pirates as a deeper roster.
The Cardinals lost their best pitcher, and their pitching staff got better. If the Pirates lost Cole, we'd just be done, dude. I wouldn't even bother doing any more Pirates segments. The year's over if Cole goes out for the season.
No, it's not.
It's done. You got Worley, Locke, and Morton in the freaking rotation.
For a short time, yes, but they'd make a move.
To bring up nobody.
No, I mean a move to bring in another pitcher.
We could trade Polanco, Marte, and Kutch for Cole Hamels like the fan wants to do.
I seen they want to trade Polanco for, I think it was Cole Hamels.
They're dumb. Well, that wraps it up. Thank you, fans, for listening. Thanks, Dash, for coming in. You guys can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. You can follow me on Twitter at betjimthewin. You can check out our website at thespreadnews.simplesite.com. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to that YouTube channel.